This is Globe File on Adamimogo 93.1 FM, Lekki, Lagos. News Express this evening. Tinubu says Nigeria's growth depends on right policies, strategic decisions. Akpabio insists insecurity politically motivated, dismisses call to remove INEC chairman. Lagos warns of rising Lassa fever cases amid nationwide outbreak. Good evening and welcome to News Express on Adamimogo 93.1 FM Lagos, a blend of national, local, political, international, sports and entertainment news. I am Ayo Adekeye and other news in detail. We begin from Abuja, where President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to economic reforms and national development, stating that Nigeria's progress depends on determination and implementation of right policies. The President made this known during the commissioning of the new building of the Nigeria Revenue Service, describing the facility as a symbol of growth, improved efficiency, and a sign of increasing stability capable of boosting investor confidence.
On my inauguration day, I made a solemn pledge that we will move Nigeria from the dimness of uncertainty into the clear light of renewed hope. Restore fairness and build an economy. That is why this administration took the bold decision to embark on far-reaching tax and fiscal reforms designed to simplify our system, eliminate distortions, and create a fair, transparent, and investment-friendly environment.
The President also noted that the country's future would largely be shaped by the quality of decisions made by leaders and the strategic direction they choose to follow.
History will not judge us by what we say, but by what we build, by the institutions we strengthen and the discipline we sustain. The work of national renewal demands consistency, courage, and collective resolve. Nigeria's future will not be determined by chance. It will be determined by the choices we all made together.
Also speaking at the event, the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, who was represented by the Minister of State for Finance, Taiwo Oyedele, described the new facility as a strategic investment. He said it reflects ongoing tax reforms and signals a transition towards a more modern, efficient and responsive revenue administration system.
Of this edifice was laid many years ago, but today, thanks to the exceptional leadership of the Nigeria Revenue Service, led by my dear brother, Dr. Zach Adedeji, and his team, we have a unified, modern institutional structure. This mirrors the transformational progress we have seen in our tax system under the visionary leadership of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu DCF. Before the reforms of this administration, Nigeria's fiscal system faced structural coordination, low tax to GDP ratio, and unsustainable debt service burden. Today, we are witnessing a different trajectory. Through decisive leadership, reforms have strengthened revenue institutions, improved collections significantly, and laid the foundation for long-term fiscal sustainability.
And now the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has faulted calls for the removal of the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Josh Amokpiton SAN, describing it as an unnecessary distraction. Speaking at the commissioning of the new NRS building today, Akpabio noted that the alleged tweet by Amokpiton could have been doctored, while claiming he did not expressly mention any political party.
And they brought out a tweet where they said the chairman of INEC said victory is sure. But he didn't say victory is sure for APC. Resign because you said victory is sure. Was somebody not going to win an election? He did not mention a name. He didn't mention the party, nothing. And the man said that it's manipulated. But for me, whether manipulated or not, he was not chairman of INEC. He was just a mere lecturer. Anybody can support anybody wishes to. But when you are on a seat, you have to think of all the entire country and all the populace. And that's what they are doing.
On the issue of insecurity, Akpabio submitted that the recent killings and attacks in different parts of the country are politically motivated to demarcate the president and turn the public against the APC-led government.
Because the election is coming. As soon as the election is over, watch out. The first 2 weeks, you will not hear any single bomb blast. Because people are sponsoring it to distract you. They don't know what else to do. They say this man is too good in many areas. If the governors are attracted to him because he's taking very good care of the states. He came in with less than 18 governors. Today he has almost 32 governors under his fold out of 36. So where do we belong? How do you win election when you don't have the structure? No political party today is stable in this country.
The lawmaker pressed President Bola Tinubu for his administration's reforms, saying the Nigerian leader would not be distracted but will remain focused on governance despite efforts to the contrary. Similarly, the federal government has defended the current cost of petrol in the country, saying the price for essential commodity is 50% lower than the global average. Executive Chairman of the Nigeria Revenue Service, Zak Adedeji, in a statement today said Nigeria enjoys a lower cost of petrol in comparison with other countries. According to him, the price of petrol in Nigeria is approximately 0.88 cents per litre in the US, lower than $1.70 also in India and South Africa.
Nigeria pump price today, because people say price is expensive, it's expensive. And that is why, as you taught me, that I must be data driven. That's why I come with the data, because I know what I'm listening. I don't want to give the word that people, Mr. President, the price in Nigeria today is 0.88 cents, which is less than $1. In the United States, we are 50% lower than the price. This is just because you allow local refineries to work. Ability to take difficult decisions, align institutions, and translate reform into measurable outcome that reposition a nation, not for the present, but for the future.
Recall on his inauguration, President Tinubu ended the payment of subsidy on petrol, a move that pushed the cost of the product from below 200 naira to almost 1,000 naira per litre. Since the Middle East war a few months ago, however, prices have soared to above 1,200 naira per litre, depending on the location. Elsewhere, Vice President Kashim Shettima today paid a consular visit to Kebbi State following recent killings in parts of the state and the death of the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Mohammed Umar Zuru. Shettima conveyed the sympathy of the President to the Governor, Nasir Idris, family of the slain security personnel, and people of the state. Speaking during the visit, Shettima said the federal government delegation included the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, Ajaz Zubaida Umar, to ensure adequate support for communities displaced by attacks. He prayed for the repose of the soul of the deceased and for strength for their families, as well as state government to bear the losses. Now to legal matters, where former Governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, is to remain in custody of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, pending the fulfillment of his bail conditions. Delivering the ruling today, the trial judge, Rilwan Aikawa, ordered the former governor to remain in custody until conditions are met. Speaking to journalists after the ruling, a chieftain of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, and a close ally of the embattled former governor, Ayatollah Lawal Makafi, said the conditions were outrageous.
There are conditions that have to be fulfilled. The conditions are many, from landed to 200 million to somebody who has traditional title and so many conditions numbering almost 10 or more. But we hope to be able to fulfill them. The Honorable Court has also chosen for Malam to still continue to be in the custody of the ICPC, where he has been over this 56 to 57 days.
Recall that the Federal High Court in Kaduna granted El Rufai bail in a corruption case instituted against him by the ICPC. Similarly, the Supreme Court has fixed April 22nd for the hearing of an appeal arising from the leadership crisis in the African Democratic Congress ADC. In today's proceedings, the Apex Court directed David Mark's counsel, Jibril Okutepa, to file and serve the appellant's brief within a short time frame in line with the accelerated hearing granted. It also ordered the respondents to file their briefs within 3 days of service, while the appellant is to file a reply if necessary within 1 day after receiving the respondents' processes. Reacting after the proceeding, Okutepa appreciated the court for recognizing the urgency and significance of the matter, noting that the issue at hand goes beyond immediate concerns and touches on the broader principles of democratic development.
I rather brought before my lords a situation of extreme urgency and a situation that is of fundamental importance to democratic growth. And you can see that they also appreciated that position. And I bent backward to give me 1 day to file my brief and give the other party 3 days to file. And in a show of understanding, they also adjourned the matter to 22nd of this month. So
the dispute, which has generated multiple litigations, centers on the control and leadership structure of the African Democratic Congress, with rival factions laying claim to the party's leadership, particularly to the position of national chairman. In a separate development, the Supreme Court of Nigeria has fixed April 22nd for the hearing of an appeal arising from the leadership dispute within the People's Democratic Party, PDP. In a statement by PDP spokesman Iniem Mobong, it noted that lead counsel Chris Uche applied for an abridgment of time and accelerated hearing, which was not opposed by other parties, including the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The court granted the application and directed all parties to file their briefs within shortened timelines before April 21st, while also fixing the same date for hearing the related appeal involving Sule Lamido. Mobong urged members to remain hopeful and express confidence that the judgment would safeguard democracy in Nigeria. And now the use and wicked faction of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has rejected reports of a possible alliance with the African Democratic Congress, ADC, warning that it could take legal action against those behind the false claims. The factional national chairman of the PDP, Abdurrahman Mohammed, made this known at the inaugural National Working Committee meeting held at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja. Mohammed explained that it is not in talks with any political group and remains focused on rebuilding and repositioning itself as a viable alternative. He also took aim at comments linked to a factional leader of the party, Kabiru Tanimuturaki SAN, describing them as misleading and an attempt to create a false impression that talks were ongoing. He warned that while the PDP respects freedom of expression, it would not ignore actions that could damage its reputation. And now away from politics, the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, has called on airline operators in the country to ensure greater transparency in communicating flight delays, particularly when operational issues cause such disruptions. The appeal was made today in a statement by the Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection at the NCAA, Michael Achimogu, who warned airlines against giving passengers misleading or inconsistent information during prolonged delays. He stressed that passengers should be informed of the true reasons for disruptions to enable them make informed decisions. Now back to the metropolis, where Lagos State government says it has formally migrated from analog and semi-digital processing of planning permits for property owners in the state. Special advisor to the governor on EJs and urban development, Olajide Abiodun, said the full automation of its planning permit process commenced on the 1st of April, which signifies that the manual processing of physical planning permits had been completely discontinued. However, he stated that anyone processing planning permits manually from the stated date is engaging in an illegal activity, and that all applications must now go through the EPPS platform exclusively. In the meantime, Lagos State Government has issued a strong public health alert on Lassa fever, announcing the launch of a statewide awareness and prevention campaign in response to rising cases across the country. Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, said Nigeria is currently facing one of its most severe Lassa fever outbreaks in recent years, with more than 660 confirmed cases and 167 deaths recorded between January and mid-March. It disclosed that the disease has spread across 22 states and 93 local government areas, describing the situation as serious national public health concern. Abayomi also raised concerns over infections among frontline health workers, noting that at least 38 healthcare personnel have contracted the disease this year. Although Lagos is not considered an endemic state and typically records only a few imported cases annually, Abayomi warned that dense population and high mobility increase the risk of rapid transmission if not properly contained. From Lagos to neighboring Ogun State, where the government has reassured residents and road users of ongoing efforts to resolve the situation after floods took over the recently commissioned Ikperu-Ilishan Road corridor. The State Commissioner for Works, Adekeye Tunde, said preliminary assessments revealed that the flood occurred largely because a shop was situated below the current road level. According to him, a heap of laterite, remnants from earlier construction works, also clogged sections of the drainage channel along the corridor. Akinsoya said laborers have already been deployed and are currently clearing and packing accumulated sand and laterite from the drainage path, pending the arrival of a grader and other heavy-duty equipment. He urged residents to refrain from indiscriminate dumping of refuse in drainage channels, as this significantly affects their functionality. Elsewhere, Nigeria Police Force has dismissed reports circulating on social media alleging insecurity at certain examination centers in the North Central State ahead of the 2026 Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board examination scheduled to begin on April 16. In a statement by Police Public Relations Officer DCP Anthony Okon-Placid, the police described the claim as unfounded, alleging members of the public to disregard unverified information capable of causing panic.
The Nigerian Police Force is aware of recent unfounded rumors circulating regarding the safety of certain centers in North Central Nigeria for the forthcoming Joint Admission and Matriculation Board examination scheduled to commence on 16th April 2026. The Nigerian Police Force wishes to categorically state that these claims are without basis. While the Nigerian Police Force does not act on rumors, the Nigerian Police Force hereby reassures candidates, parents, the general public that every measure has been taken to guarantee a safe and conducive environment for all examinations.
Placid warned that individuals or groups seeking to cause disruption will be identified and dealt with in accordance with the law. You're listening to News Express on Adami Mogo 93.1 FM Lagos. Still to come, on sports, Mola cautions Bayern despite first leg win over Real Madrid. On entertainment, Doris Ogala raises alarm over armed police presence in a Lagos apartment.
You can listen to Adami Mogo 93.1 FM from any part of the world. Download the Adami Mogo 931 FM app from Google Play Store and Radio Garden, and follow us on Adami Mogo 93.1 FM on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you have eyewitness stories or exclusive to share, contact the Adami Mogo FM newsroom via mail at newsroom@adamimogofm.com, or you can dial 070-634-03583. You can dial 090-319-69629. Adami Mogo 93.1 FM Lagos, voice of the light.
Glad to know you're still with us. And now to the rest of our stories. On the foreign scene, negotiators from the US and Iran could return to Islamabad this week to resume talks to end the war after the collapse of weekend negotiations prompted Washington to impose a blockade on Iranian ports. While the US blockade drew angry rhetoric from Tehran, signs that diplomatic engagements might continue helped calm oil markets today, pushing benchmark prices below $100. US President Donald Trump said Iran had been in touch on Monday and wanted to make a deal, adding that he would not sanction any agreement that allowed Tehran to possess a nuclear weapon. Now to sports, where Bayern Munich legend Thomas Muller has warned the Bundesliga giants ahead of both the UEFA Champions League quarter-final second leg clash against Madrid on Wednesday. Muller believes the Los Blancos can hurt the Bavarians if they are not careful enough during the encounter. Bayern will take on Madrid at the Allianz Arena after beating the La Liga giants 2-1 in the first leg. In the meantime, ahead of Barcelona's UEFA Champions League quarter-final second leg with Atletico Madrid, Lamine Yamal has made an emotional plea for Neymar Jr. to be part of Brazil's World Cup squad. Neymar was not included in the last squad released by head coach Carlo Ancelotti during the March international break. Ancelotti had already stated that the 34-year-old former Barcelona player needed to be 100% physically fit to be able to be in the Brazilian squad. We return to entertainment, where popular Nollywood actor Doris Agala has raised alarm over the presence of armed policemen in her house. Expressing fear, the actress, who captured how the police surrounded her residence very early today, stated that she was never invited to the station. She called on the public to hold the founder of Grace Nation International Ministry, Pastor Chris Okafor, responsible for her ordeal.
They say they are from Lagos. They are from Lagos. Please does not want to leave me alone. He has carried me to 3 courts. Now he has taken me to more than 7 police offices. There is one in Zone 2. There is one in Abuja, Zone 7. There is one everywhere. He has carried me to more than 7 police. This is the one sending them. They say they are from Lagos. They have surrounded my house. If you do not see me again, you will show Chris Okafor responsible.
However, a new report has emerged claiming that the actress is being sought in connection with a pending criminal suit before the Federal High Court Lagos Judicial Division over allegations linked to a social media publication concerning the cleric. And just before we conclude News Express on Adami Mogo 93.1 FM this evening, here's a recap of the biggest stories. I told you President Bola Tinubu reaffirmed his administration's commitment to economic reforms and national development. Also in the news, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, faulted calls for the removal of the chairman of INEC, Professor Joash Amukpito, over what he described as unnecessary distractions. And finally, it was in the news that Lagos State government issued a strong public health alert on Lassa fever, announcing the launch of statewide awareness and prevention campaign in response to rising cases across the country. That's News Express. On behalf of the production team, I'm Ayo Adekeye, saying thank you for listening. A good evening to you.
Madam, she and my vehicle will like this. Why you go drink something they talk about like this? Yeah, pick her up.
Sorry, sir. I didn't think it mattered.
Madam, it matters. Everybody knows you litter everywhere like this. You know it makes sense. You know the right thing to do, so do it.
Whether on the road, in a bus or at home, dispose your waste properly. A cleaner Lagos begins with you.
Ibrahim Abdul Chakamu wà pẹ̀lú àwọn adánilégbé 93.1 FM nílùú Èkó, wọ́n máa ń lu Ìbàdàn, wọ́n wà káàkiri àgbàlá ayé.
àsìkò ìròyìn ti tó bóyá ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ̀bọ̀ lónílé lálejò bóyá lọ́mọdé lágbà ẹ mú kalẹ̀ owó ẹ mú kalẹ̀ ọmọ ìròyìn tó jẹ́ ojúlówó rédíò yìí lẹ ti máa gbọ́ 93.1 FM ìkànnì tó tayọ Lẹ́kì la máa fi kalẹ̀ sí nígboro Èkó Adámímọ́gò FM bóyá.
ẹ kúrọ̀lẹ́ àkótán ìròyìn ló ń dé sí etí gbọ̀yìn láti ìkànnì àdámímógò 93.1 FM Lekki phase 1 ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó wọ́n yìí ní àwọn kókó tó súyọ nínú ìròyìn náà. ààrẹ Bọ́lá mẹ́ẹ̀ Tinubu yan ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà náà ló ti sọ ọ́ di mímọ̀ pé ìdàgbàsókè ilẹ̀ yìí náà ló dá lórí àwọn ìlànà ìsọdọ̀tun tó tọ́ tó ń tẹ ìpinnu pẹ̀lú ọgbọ́n àtinúdá. Akpabio ti sọ di mímọ̀ pé àìláàbò lórílẹ̀‐èdè wa Nàìjíríà náà ló jẹ́ iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ àwọn amòòkùnṣìkà lágbo òṣèlú orílẹ̀‐èdè wa Nàìjíríà tó sì ń tako ìpè àti yọ alága àjọ tó ń ṣe kò kárí ètò ìdìbò nílẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà. Ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó náà ló ti ń lágò kìlọ̀ lórí ìtànkálẹ̀ àrùn ibà ọ̀rẹ̀rẹ̀ tá a mọ̀ sí Lassa fever ní tìbútòrò ilẹ̀ yìí. ẹ ṣeun tẹ́ ń gbọ́ ìkànnì àdámímógò 93.1 FM eléyìí tá a fi kalẹ̀ sí Lekki phase 1 ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó wọ́n yìí ní ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ ìròyìn náà Túndé Olawuyi lóníròyìn. ààrẹ ilẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu náà ló ti sọ ọ́ di mọ̀ pé ìṣàkóso náà ni ò ní tẹ̀tì lórí àti ṣe ìgbélárugẹ àwọn ìlànà ọ̀tun lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan fún ìdàgbàsókè ètò ọrọ̀ ajé orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà tó ń ti ìlànà ìdàgbàsókè ilẹ̀ yìí lápapọ̀. ọ̀rọ̀ yìí náà ló fi léde níbi ó ti ń ṣe lálàyé síta pé ìlọsíwájú orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà iná ló dá lórí àti ṣe ìpinnu tó tọ́ tó ń ti ṣíṣe àmúlò àwọn ìlànà ìsọdọ̀tun lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan fún ìdàgbàsókè ilẹ̀ yìí. ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu náà ló sọ eléyìí mímọ̀ lónìí òde yìí níbi ayẹyẹ ṣíṣí iṣẹ́ àkànṣe tuntun eléyìí tí ṣe ibùdó àjọ tí ń rí sí ìpawówọlé lábẹ́nú lórílẹ̀‐èdè wa Nàìjíríà tó sì ń ṣe àpèjúwe ibùdó ọ̀hún gẹ́gẹ́ bí ibùdó tí ń ṣe àmì ìdàgbàsókè orílẹ̀‐èdè yìí tí ó sì tún jẹ́ kí ọwọ́ iṣẹ́ ọmọ àyà sí lẹ́ka ìpawówọlé lábẹ́nú tó ń ti ẹ̀ka tí ó tún mú kí àjọ tó ń tàwọn èèyàn tó jẹ́ olùdókòwò tún lẹ́mìí ìgbẹ́kẹ̀lé láti dókòwò sí orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà. nínú ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀hún òun náà ló ti sọ ọ́ di mímọ̀ pé ọjọ́ iwájú orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà òun náà ló lè lóòrìn sí o ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú àti ṣe àwọn ìpinnu tó tọ́ lẹ́yìn tí yóò máa jáde láti ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn adarí tó ń ti títẹ̀lé àwọn ìlànà tó tọ́ lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan nílẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà. nínú ọ̀rọ̀ tiẹ̀ náà alákòóso fún ọ̀rọ̀ owó náà nílẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà Wálé Ẹ̀dùn eléyìí tí alákòóso kejì lórí ọ̀rọ̀ owó náà ńlẹ̀ yìí ṣojú fún Táíwò Oyèdélé náà ló ṣe àpèjúwe ibùdó tuntun ọ̀hún gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹni tó ń ṣàmì ètò àgbékalẹ̀ lọ́lọ́kan ọ̀jọ̀kan lórí ìdókòwò nílẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà lẹ́yìn tí ó ń ṣàfihàn àṣeyọrí lẹ́ka owó orí nílẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà eléyìí tí wọ́n mú àtúnrọ̀débà. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ náà ló sọ ọ́ di mímọ̀ pé ìgbésẹ̀ ọ̀tún ọ̀hún òun náà ni ó jẹ́ kí ìṣàkóso ìpawówọlé lábẹ́nú kó tún lóòrìn sí i lákòókò yìí. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ tiẹ̀ náà alága àjọ tó ń rí sí ìpawówọlé lábẹ́nú nílẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà Zack Adédèjì iná gbóṣùbà kárẹ̀ fún ìṣàkóso ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu lẹ́yìn tó pé àṣeyọrí eléyìí tó ṣe lákòókò yìí òun náà ló wáyé o látàrí àwọn ìlànà lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan eléyìí tí ó ṣe àgbéjáde rẹ̀ láti ṣe àtúnrọ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà tó ń ti farajìn rẹ̀ lórí ìmúgbòòrò tó ń ti ìmúdúró ṣinṣin àwọn ẹ̀ka ìṣèjọba ní orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. wáyé o ààrẹ ilé-ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin àgbà ilẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà Godswill Akpabio náà ló ti ń bẹnu àtẹ́lu ìpè yíyọ alága àjọ tó ń ṣe kò kárí ètò ìdìbò nílẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà yan àjọ INEC yan ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Joash Amupitan lẹ́yìn tó pé ní ọ̀rọ̀ ìrégbègbà láti ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn àríjẹnídìí mọ̀dàrú nígbà tó sọ ìlédìí mímọ̀ lónìí òde yìí níbi ètò ṣíṣí ibùdó tuntun fún àjọ tó ń rí sí ìpawówọlé lábẹ́nú nílẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà. Akpabio òun náà ní òòṣà ìbẹnu àtẹ́lu ọ̀rọ̀ kan eléyìí tí wọ́n pe Amupitan gbé jáde lórí ìkànnì ayélujára tó sì pé ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀hún òun náà ni àwọn ikọ̀ amọ̀òkùnṣèkà lórí ìkànnì ayélujára gbìyànjú láti ṣe àwúrúju lé lórí lẹ́yìn tó pé ọ̀rọ̀ tí Amupitan gbé jáde ọ̀hún òun náà ló jẹ́ pé kò dákọ̀ agbo òṣèlú kankan nínú ọ̀rọ̀ náà. wàyí ò lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ààbò Akpabio òun náà ni ṣàìsọ́ọ̀dì mọ̀ pé ìkọlù tó ń di gbọmọgbọmọ lẹ́nu lọ́lọ́ yìí tó ń ti ìdẹ́mi ẹni légbodò láwọn akọ àbíkan lórílẹ̀‐èdè wa Nàìjíríà òun náà ló jẹ́ iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ àwọn amọ̀òkùnṣèkà lágbo òṣèlú orílẹ̀‐èdè wa Nàìjíríà lórí àti lè fi yọwọ́ ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu tó ń ti ìṣàkóso ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú ti APC kó láwo níwájú àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀‐èdè wa Nàìjíríà. Alákòóso ọ̀hún yun tó ti jẹ́ aṣòfin ọ̀hún náà ni ó ṣe àgbóṣùbà káre fún ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu lórí akitiyan ìṣàkóso rẹ̀ lórí àtúnrọ̀ orílẹ̀‐èdè yìí tó sì pé adarí orílẹ̀‐èdè wa Nàìjíríà náà ni kò ní wo àwọn gbọ́ ìsọ̀ yìí eléyìí tí ó lè mú kó má gbé ìgbésẹ̀ tó tọ́ ní orílẹ̀‐èdè wa Nàìjíríà bí kì í ṣe láti tẹ̀lé àwọn ìlànà ìsọdọ̀tun lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan. Àkótán ìròyìn sì ń tẹ̀ wájú níkànnì Adámimógo 93.1 FM ní Lekki phase 1 ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó. Wọ́n ti sọ ọ́ di mímọ̀ pé ìjọba àpapọ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà náà ló ti ń wí àwíjàre rẹ̀ lórí iye tí à ń ra jálá epo kan ní orílẹ̀-èdè ìlẹ́nu lọ́lọ́ yìí lẹ́yìn tó pé owó ọ̀hún òun náà ló tún dí sí bí wọ́n ti ń rà láwùjọ àgbáyé lákòókò yìí. Alága àjọ tí ń rí sí ìpawówọlé lábẹ́nú nílẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà Zack Adédèjì náà ló fi eléyìí léde nínú àtẹ̀jáde eléyìí tí ó fi léde lónìí òde yìí tó pé àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà náà ló ń jẹ̀gbádùn iye tí wọ́n sì ń ra epo bẹntiró ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú bí wọ́n tún ti ń rà á láwọn orílẹ̀-èdè míì láwùjọ àgbáyé. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ ó pé jálá epo bẹntiró kan lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí òun náà ni kò tó owó dọ́là kan yàtọ̀ sí bí wọ́n ti ń rà á nílẹ̀ Amẹ́ríkà tó ti ilẹ̀ India àti ilẹ̀ ti South Africa eléyìí tó tó dọ́là kan tó ti ẹ̀sùn àádọ́rin ní yẹ̀yìn $1.70. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ náà ló ti pé lọ́jọ́ ìbúra fún ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu náà ló gbé ìgbésẹ̀ láti yọ owó ìrànwọ́ orí epo nílẹ̀ yìí lẹ́yìn tó mú kí owó epo bẹntiró ń gbẹnu sókè láti owó tí ò tó $2 jálá epo kan sí $1,000. wáyé kò ṣàìsọ di mọ̀ pé lẹ́yìn ogun eléyìí tó bẹ́ẹ̀lẹ̀ ní ẹkùn ìlà oòrùn àárín gbùngbùn àgbáyé níbi oṣù díẹ̀ sẹ́yìn òun náà ló mú kí owó epo bẹntiró tún gbẹnu sókè di $600 ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú ibi tí ẹnìkọ̀ọ̀kan bá ti ra epo tiẹ̀. ẹ jábọ́ sí ìròyìn ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó. Wọ́n ti sọ ọ́ di mímọ̀ pé ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó náà ló ti ń lago kìlọ̀ sí etí àwọn ará ìlú lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ìlera ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, níbi àjọ tí ń rí sí ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ìlera ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó ti ń ké gbàjarè lórí ìtànkálẹ̀ àrùn ibà ọ̀rẹ̀rẹ̀ tá a mọ̀ sí Lassa fever, lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n ti kéde ìgbésẹ̀ ìtanijí fún àwọn èèyàn lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan ní tìbútòrò ìpínlẹ̀ yìí lórí àti dẹ́kun ìtànkálẹ̀ àrùn ibà ọ̀rẹ̀rẹ̀ ọ̀hún, lẹ́yìn tí ó ti di tọrọ fọ́nkálẹ̀ láwọn akọ àbìkan nílẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà. Alákòóso fún ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ìlera ńlẹ̀ yìí ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Akin Àbáyọ̀mí òun náà ló sọ ọ́ di mímọ̀ pé orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà iná ló ń kojú ìtànkálẹ̀ àrùn ibà ọ̀rẹ̀rẹ̀ ọ̀hún níbi ó ti bẹ́ẹ̀lẹ̀ ní ọdún díẹ̀ sẹ́yìn, lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n sì ní àkọọ́lẹ̀ àwọn èèyàn tó ti lùgbàdì àrùn ọ̀hún tí wọ́n tó 600 níye, tó ń ti àwọn tí ó ti fara káásá ikú òjijì látàrí ìtànkálẹ̀ àrùn ọ̀hún, lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n tó 17,150 láàrin oṣù kínní sí oṣù kẹta ọdún 2026 tá a wà nínú èyí. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ òun náà ló ti sọ ọ́ di mọ̀ pé àrùn ọ̀hún òun náà ló ti tàn kálẹ̀ káàkiri àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ 22 tó ń ti àwọn ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ 93 ní orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà, tó sì ń ṣe àpèjúwe ìgbésẹ̀ ọ̀hún gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìgbésẹ̀ tó gba ìgbésẹ̀ kànmọ́kíá lákòókò yìí, tó ń ti ìgbésẹ̀ lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan láti ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn ikọ̀ ìṣèjọba lórílẹ̀‐èdè wa Nàìjíríà. Àbáyọ̀mí náà ni ó ṣàkẹ́gbàjarè lórí bí àwọn ikọ̀ elétò ìlera ṣe ń fara káásá àwọn kòkòrò àìfojúrí lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan, tó sì pé kò dín ní àwọn ikọ̀ elétò ìlera bíi 38 lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n ti fara káásá àrùn ní ọdún tá a wà nínú èyí, níbi tí àwọn tó jẹ́ dókítà ilé ìwòsàn 3 ti fara káásá ikú òjijì látàrí àrùn ọ̀hún. Ẹ̀wẹ̀ kò ṣàì sọ di mọ̀ pé ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó òun náà là lè kà mára àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ eléyìí tí àrùn yìí ti ń di tọrọ fọ́nkálẹ̀, tó sì ní àkọọ́lẹ̀ díẹ̀ lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n máa ń ṣe àkọọ́lẹ̀ rẹ̀ lọ́dọọdún pẹ̀lú àwọn tó bá gòwá láti ilẹ̀ òkèrè tí ó sì ran àwọn èèyàn nílẹ̀ yìí. Àbáyọ̀mí náà ló ti wá ké gbàjarè pé ìtànkálẹ̀ àrùn ọ̀hún òun náà ni kò ṣàì máa wáyé pẹ̀lú ìpọ̀yàmùrà ní ìpínlẹ̀ yìí, tó ń ti bí àwọn èèyàn ṣe máa rìn láti ibìkan síbìkan, eléyìí tó sì ń pè fún ìgbésẹ̀ kánmọ́kíá lórí àtìpagídínà ìtànkálẹ̀ àrùn náà. wáyé wọn ti sọ adimọ̀ pé ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn náà ló ti fi ọwọ́ ìdánilójú ẹ̀ sọ̀yà fún àwọn olùgbé ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn tó ń ti àwọn arìnrìn-àjò àti àwọn tó ń lo ojú òpópónà láti rìn láti ibìkan síbìkan ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn ọ̀hún lórí àtúnṣe òpópónà Ìpẹ́rù sí Ìlíṣàn ní ìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀hún, lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n ṣẹ̀ sí ní ẹnujọ́ mẹ́ta yìí, lẹ́yìn tó pé ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ omíyalé tó ń ti ẹ̀kún omi lè tó wáyé ní òpópónà ọ̀hún kò ṣàì wáyé o látàrí àwọn in tó ti dí àwọn ojúṣàn omi ọ̀hún. Alákòóso fún ọ̀rọ̀ iṣẹ́ òde ní ìpínlẹ̀ náà Adé Akínsànyà òun náà ló ti wá sọ ọ́ di mọ̀ pé ìgbésẹ̀ tí àwọn gbé lórí àti lọ́ọ́ ṣe àbẹ̀wò síbi ojú ọ̀nà ọ̀hún níbi tí wọ́n ti ń ké gbàjarè lórí ẹ̀kún omi lè tó wáyé ní ojú òpópónà ọ̀hún. Òun náà ni wọ́n ti pé ibùsọ̀ kan eléyìí tí ó wà ní bèbè ojú òpópónà ọ̀hún tó ń ti bí àwọn ihun tí wọ́n lò fún ojú òpópónà ọ̀hún eléyìí tí wọ́n lò kúńbẹ̀ tí ó sì di ojúṣàn omi ọ̀hún eléyìí tó ti wà ní ojúṣàn omi náà. Òun náà ló ṣokùnfà bí omi ò ṣe já gaara ní ojúṣàn omi ọ̀hún. Akínsànyà náà ló ti wá sọ ọ́ di mọ̀ pé àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ òun náà ni wọ́n ti rán lọ sí ibùdó yìí láti gbé ìgbésẹ̀ kánmọ́kíá lórí àti kó àwọn tó ti di ojúṣàn omi ọ̀hún lẹ́yẹ sọ́kà, tí wọ́n sì pé lẹ́yìn òun náà ni wọ́n kó àwọn ohun èròjà lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan lẹ́yìn tí ó lọ ṣe àtúnṣe ojú ọ̀nà ọ̀hún ní ojú ọ̀gán. Wàyí wọ́n ti wá rọ àwọn olùgbé agbègbè ọ̀hún láti yàgò fún ìwà mímáa da pàǹtí sí ojúṣàn omi lẹ́yìn tó lè dẹ́kun ìjágara ṣíṣàn omi ní agbègbè ọ̀hún, lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n pe àwọn ikọ̀ tí ọ̀rọ̀ kàn òun náà ni ó sì gbé ìgbésẹ̀ lójú ọgán láìpẹ́ yìí lórí àti dájú pé omi jágara ní ojúṣàn omi náà. wáyé àkótán ọ̀rọ̀ ìfún ti rọ̀lẹ́ ètò ní òde yìí náà ni kò ní jù báyìí lọ níkànnì àdámimógo 93.1 FM amákin tó máa lọ ẹ̀gbọ́ kókónú ẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i. amúhàfin nínú ìròyìn ọ̀hún pé ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè wa nàìjíríà Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu òun náà ló ti sọ ọ́ di mímọ̀ pé ìdàgbàsókè orílẹ̀-èdè wa nàìjíríà òun náà ló lè wá sí ìmúṣẹ o pẹ̀lú ṣíṣe àgbéjáde àwọn ìlànà ìsọdọ̀tun tó tọ́ tó ń ti ṣíṣe àwọn ìpinnu rere nínú ọgbọ́n àtinúdá eléyìí tí ó lè mú ìdàgbàsókè bá orílẹ̀-èdè. bẹ́ẹ̀ náà la mú wá fún yín pé Akpabio eléyìí ti ṣe ààrẹ ilé-ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin àgbà ilẹ̀ wa nàìjíríà òun náà ló ti sọ ọ́ di mọ̀ pé gbọ́mọgbọ́mọ ìdojúkọ ètò ààbò nílẹ̀ wa nàìjíríà òun náà ló jẹ́ iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ àwọn amòòkùnṣìkà àwọn àríjẹ nídìí mọ̀dàrú nílẹ̀ yìí tó sì ń ta ko ìpè yíyọ alága àjọ tó ń ṣe kò kárí ètò ìdìbò nílẹ̀ wa nàìjíríà ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Joash Amupitan. bẹ́ẹ̀ náà làwọn wá fún yín pé ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ èkó náà ló ti ń ké gbàjarè lórí ìtànkálẹ̀ àrùn ibà ọ̀rẹ̀rẹ̀ tá a mọ̀ sí Lassa fever níbi ó ti ń tàn kálẹ̀ láwọn ìpínlẹ̀ kan lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí. ẹ ṣeun tí ẹ bá wa gbọ́ àkótán ọ̀rọ̀ ìfún tìrọ̀lẹ́ tòní òde yìí níkànnì àdámimógo 93.1 FM Lekki phase 1 ní ìpínlẹ̀ èkó. Ayọ̀ Adekeye náà ni olóòtú ìròyìn ọ̀hún. ẹ ṣe ń ṣe tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa Túndé Olawuyi ló kọ tèmi ire o lọ́ọ̀dẹ̀ kó wà wá.